The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up? It is time for Cowboys Storyline. I am Nick Eatman here. It's Monday, December the 4th, and let's do this. We got a little extra time here. We're going to have, this is not a permanent change in our time at 9:30 Central, but with no talking Cowboys this morning, we thought, well, you know what, we got plenty to talk about. A lot going on in the football world, both college and pro. If you want to go there, I know this is a show all over the country, and actually a little bit outside the country as well. So anything you want to talk about, I think it's fair game. Well, let's be careful when we say that, football-wise, of course. And let's get after it. We want to talk about the Eagles, 49ers. Of course, Cowboys play the Eagles this week. Maybe we'll hear some Shaq Leonard news today as well. So we're going to get after it. 888-855-2297 is the number to call. The text line somewhere over here. I haven't memorized that one just yet, but there it is, 817-290-3298. All right. Let's get after it here. Let's start things off. Let's go north of the border here. Daryl, he's in Montreal, Canada. Daryl.
Morning. How are you doing, Nick?
How are you doing? Is you a first-time caller?
Can you give me the here we go and I'll explain after? I don't want to be...
Sure. Here we go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I didn't want you to take away that here we go. I've called before, like other shows in the past, like the lunch break, not the break, the lunch break and whatever. So.
Oh yeah. The first time caller is on the Storyline. So of course, yeah. I mean, all those other shows. I mean, they count, but I mean, no, we're building something right here. So yeah, 100% first time caller. I'm trying to find the volume button down here.
Perfect. Thank you. I also guess today was my lucky day because I'm a teacher at high school and the school has no power, so school was closed.
Oh.
It was canceled, so I'm home, and I said, you know what? Let me call in, and I'm first up in line.
There you go, first time caller, first time caller, and also no power. So you're not going to go help or anything, or you just say, nah, sorry, you're out.
That's
their problem.
My job is in the classroom, not anything else.
I hear you.
So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you have a bunch of callers.
You're good.
I just wanted to talk about, even though our Thanksgiving here in Canada isn't at the same time, I wanted to talk about my best Thanksgiving memory. I know it's a couple weeks late, but I've been to a couple of games down in Dallas. And in 2010, I went to the New Orleans Thanksgiving game. And the memory I had was actually the night before. I actually got to meet you and Derek and Dia Wall at one of those autograph signing things there. So
yeah.
That was pretty cool. And you even told me, I came up and I spoke to you, and you even told me that you hardly did those anymore, and you just happened to do it that day. So I was lucky to meet you.
What city was that in?
That was in Dallas. In Dallas, the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah. I got you.
I think it was 2010 against the Saints.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, we don't do that a whole lot. I mean, I know that they still do that, but not a ton. So, yeah, that's awesome.
And then I have a player.
Okay.
That I want to know if you will remember. I've been hoping no one says it. I'm trying to stump you a little bit, which might be impossible, but Corvey Irvin.
Corey Irvin?
Corvey
Irvin. Yeah, that's a stumper. I want to say defensive tackle, but I don't.
Yes.
Was he?
Yes.
I have the media guide up. I remember him, sort of, but not really. I couldn't tell you much about him. Did he play much?
No, it was a year where he had a lot of injuries, and he got signed. He didn't play too much.
Was that was the year that they just signed like 100 defensive tackles? Like they just, because that was 2013, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Why I know him is that I actually met him because now he coaches for the Montreal Alouettes.
Okay.
And I met him, and we actually kind of became friends. And actually, they just won the Grey Cup up here this year. So
nice.
I thought
Corvey. You're right. Corvey Irvin, defensive tackle, Georgia, 2013. Yeah, that was the year they just had so many injuries and they kept just bringing them through. And yeah, all right, you got me on that one. I mean, I kind of remember, but not much. But then again,
well, you got it.
He didn't stay. He wasn't here that long. So
yeah,
awesome.
Okay, so I'll get to my question for you. Obviously, this is a big game coming up this week, and with everything that happened last night. I saw in the Seattle game, I'm not sure if Gilmore and Bland switched sides or if they were traveling, if Gilmore was traveling with DK Metcalf. And since DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown are kind of similar size receivers, do you think that they might do that again this week?
Well, I think whatever they did against Seattle, I think you need to throw that away. I mean, like I
mean, not necessarily in the second half because they kind of
true. In the second half, they got better on it, but I mean, also Seattle sort of changed their game plan a little bit. But here's the thing: Dan Quinn doesn't really do that whole lot. He's going to switch around what he does, even within the game. I think there's times where you did see Gilmore travel, you did see Bland kind of move around, but they're interchangeable. They can do that, and I don't think Dan Quinn wants to get anyone to have a beat on what they're actually doing. So there's not going to be like one way. Like he's got him. And that's the way it is. I don't think that's the way they're going to handle it. Because how can you do that when you have Devontae Smith on the other side? I mean, he can hurt you too. That's what makes Philly so good. Anytime you have multiple receivers like that.
But that's why I kind of felt Seattle's receivers are close to.
They're close.
The same in sense of they have the DK Metcalf with the size, and then you have Njigba, and then you have Lockett that are. I mean, not quite as fast as Smith, but they're still kind of speedy receivers. So I was wondering if they might make that approach. But either way, it's a big game.
Sure.
Hopefully we get it done and get tied for first place.
That's right. All right. Thanks for the call, Daryl. Appreciate that. Good stuff. All right. Let's get moving here. Michael's in Colton, California. Sounds like a new name. Michael, Colton, California?
No, it's the same name, Nick. I'm a repeat caller.
Are you?
Hey, yes, sir.
Dang
Yeah, but
you know what? You still get it. Here we go. You still get one. There we go. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Nick. I just want to say something real quick and then ask you a question. I just want to say, I think that right now we're actually starting to click on all cylinders. And hopefully, that sends us into this playoff run, you know what I mean? And we could actually do something instead of, the repeat history that's been going on for the last almost 30 years or so. But anyways, also my question to you is I was on the RJ and everybody else show the other day in the morning. I love that show, by the way. I'm just kidding. It's 103 The Fan. And I posed a question to them, but I didn't get an answer. But I would like to hear your opinion.
Okay.
I think when it's all said and done, I think CeeDee Lamb has the potential to be the best receiver to ever wear the 88. And I don't say that lightly because I seen Michael Irvin play, and he was a beast. He was, like Deion Sanders says, he was a dog, straight up, And Dez Bryant, man, he was awesome, but he was also kind of one-dimensional. And I mean, no disrespect at all, because Dez Bryant was awesome, man, with them back shoulder fades. But I think CeeDee Lamb is complete all the way around. He's a route runner. He's a technician. He got hands.
Let me ask you this real quick. Who's the best quarterback in Cowboys history?
Oh, Aikman.
Why?
Would say Aikman.
Why?
I mean, just winners win. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And he got us 3 Super Bowls.
Okay, there you go. And there it is. I just kind of set you up for that. That's the thing. Because Romo's got better stats. Danny White had better stats, but they didn't win championships. And that's all I'm saying. You are right. Talent-wise, CeeDee Lamb might be the best. He might end up having the best stats. But if he doesn't lead them, if he's not the heart and soul on 3 championship teams, it's going to be hard to beat Michael Irvin. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you got me there.
I'm not trying to get you. I'm just trying to say that's how we qualify things. And if Aikman and Staubach do it for you because of the Super Bowls, then it's hard to beat Pearson and Irvin just with stats alone. You got to be like head and shoulders above the rest. So he's got a challenge there, But for what you're saying about just an absolute playmaker, sorry, I don't really want to steal Michael's term like that, but that's what CeeDee is. you're not wrong there. It's just that how we view players is going to be hard to unseat them at the top because they have those shiny fingers that these current players do not have. So
that was a great answer, Nick. Thank you. Hey, one more thing, please. I want to send a shout out to my son Eli. Today's his birthday. He's a huge Cowboys fan, man. He watches the games with me every week, and I just want to say happy birthday to Eli.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday to Eli.
Sir.
Good stuff. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Michael.
Have a good day.
All right, man. That's pretty. Yeah. I mean, Michael naming his kid Eli, obviously going up against, the Giants so many times, Eli Manning. I'm just kidding. I love that. Happy birthday to Eli. All right, let's roll to Brian in Pennsylvania. Brian.
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
How's everyone in Pennsylvania today?
I tell you what, darndest thing happened. I woke up this morning and no birds chirping outside. None of that noise that I usually hear on a Monday.
Wow. Well,
it's been real quiet.
Hate that for
wondering
them.
if everyone's okay.
The thing about it is, it's like the Cowboys aren't sitting around gloating because they're like, yeah, been there, done that. I mean, that's the thing. It's good and bad because it's like, oh, nice to see the Eagles kind of get it handed to them. But also it's like, well, yeah, they did it to you as well. And so now we know who the cream of the crop is right now in the NFC. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And when they want to play, they turn it into a fight, and they did. And the Eagles couldn't handle it. Of course, the Cowboys couldn't either. So.
Yeah, well, I think the Eagles might be catching the bug where they've got a lot of talent, but they're not. I mean, even all the games they've won this year have been really ugly. They haven't really been living up to it. That old Cowboys adage of, play good with good teams, but then just barely squeak by other teams and playing down to their competition. But this isn't an Eagles show. This is a Cowboys show.
That's right.
What I wanted to call and talk about today was I think that everybody, staff, writers, fans, everybody included, needs to stop and say, I'm sorry, Tyron, you're still the man. You know what I mean? Actually, the whole offensive line. I'm sorry, guys. We doubted you at the beginning of the season. We kept saying y'all are holding us back. My bad.
Well,
because Dak's been pretty clean, and even with the run has been opening up. These lanes for Tony Pollard, they're just progressively getting better and better and better each week as a unit.
Yeah. Here's the thing about that. I don't know if you could just say, well, my bad, guys. We were wrong. I don't think so. I mean, they weren't playing well, and they were not all healthy either. I mean, that was part of it too. So I think where you can say my bad would be because a lot of times we like to just put everything into big picture. Like if a guy makes a bad play, it's like he's not any good or he's lost it. Tyron doesn't have it anymore. There's a difference of saying, hey, he's just not himself, or hopefully he can get back to that point. And that's what a lot of people do. They kind of just write them off and say, all right, they're never going to be good. Terrence Steele is never going to get back to 100% again, and that's not the case. And so I think maybe that's what happened is they kind of wrote this offensive line off as being a really good line, and right now they're playing like a really good line. But you know what? I mean, think about the games they didn't play so well. 49ers, Eagles. I mean, it's a little different. So, they kind of still have to prove that a little bit as well.
Well, one thing I've noticed that I've been really interested in is the coaches this year, like the assistant coaches.
Yeah.
And everybody, the game preparation, I guess, because ever since the San Francisco game, it seems like every game the preparation is just upped. We actually, I used to call earlier and talk about the problems with the team not being able to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, I guess, Dak has a better grasp of the offense, and the defense understands what their goals are. So it just seems like we're able to adjust in games. The one thing I saw in the Seahawks game was we started to get some adversity. I'm like, oh, here we go, same old Cowboys. But I saw them adjust and keep fighting, and I saw this attitude like, you're not going to beat me, or I'm not going to let you win. You're going to have to beat me. And that attitude with, CD and Micah, a lot of people call them arrogant. I call them both obsessed. They're obsessed with being the best they can be, and they want the opportunity to help their team out. And that was just something I was encouraged to see because I don't think we had that. Every once in a while you get that bad play and you see Dak just trot off the field and you're like, oh, same old Cowboys. But this energy and the way our team is coming together, and played the Seahawks. It was more about the way they played than the fact that it was the Seahawks. I know they were a winning team, and we needed that playoff caliber team victory with a hard battle, but something about this team, I've been trying not to say it all year, but something is different. I don't know who's putting what in the Gatorade, but give them a raise and make sure that they're there,
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. And you're right. I mean, something is different. I mean, you could say what you want about, what happens in the playoffs, and that's what people do. But, I mean, I think, you have to get there, and you can still say something is different because, I mean, winning these games at home like that, I mean, blowing teams out. They've won 6 games at home, and they've scored at least 30 points in every one of them, and 40 points, I think, in half of them. So that's a lot of points. They're really taking care of business on teams that they should beat. Aside from the Arizona game, but like you'd said before, I mean, that offensive line is now coming together. That offensive line wasn't even existent in that game, so that wasn't even close to what we're used to seeing here. So all right, let's keep it rolling here. We've got Alan. He's in Long Island, New York. Alan.
Hey Nick, good morning. Second time caller.
All right, how you doing?
Doing well. Just a quick question about Shaq Leonard. I'm not sure if you're sick of hearing his name or anything like that, but just want to know, what's the vibe in the building? What are you hearing?
I think
if you're even allowed to tell us.
Well, I mean, the vibe is that it would be nice to have him. That would be that they want him. That'd be nice to have him. This isn't the Charles Haley move that put the Cowboys over the top. It's not
Gotcha.
that. They recognize what everyone can see. The same stuff from the medical. He's got some back surgery. His knees aren't the best. He's had concussions. I mean, this guy's kind of beat up a little bit, but they still feel like he's a talented player that can help on a position, a team that could use him.
Right.
Both the Cowboys and the Eagles have, some depth issues at linebacker, and so that's kind of why where it's not one of those things where I got to beat you, so if you want him, then I want him. It's just one of those things where here's 2 teams that are fighting each other this week, but they both need some help at linebacker. But I don't think either one of them is going to break the bank to get him, honestly.
Gotcha. Now, what do you like? Obviously, it's between us and the Eagles. What would, in your professional opinion, what would make him choose the Eagles over us? I mean, obviously, we have the better facility. We have, the Jones family as the owners. We have, Micah Parsons. We have, Stephon Gilmore, et cetera. The only thing I'd be concerned about is he concerned that, Dan Quinn would leave after this season, if we even sign him past this season. But what do you think about that? Like, what would possess him to leave? To choose the Eagles, you think?
Well, I mean, some long-term stability as well. Like what kind of deal is it? Is it a deal that would help me long-term? Do you have money next year that you can pay? Maybe not so much this year, but maybe some next year. Also, defensive tackles. He could look at the guys in front of him. Every linebacker that's ever been great has probably had some really good defensive tackles in front of him that kind of can keep the trash off of him. So maybe that is something he would look at too. They got some big boys over there in the middle. So do the Cowboys. I mean, just don't act like Hankins and Osa and Mozzie and these guys. I mean, they got strength. They got big guys as well. But I mean, Philly definitely does with those players and Fletcher Cox, of course, but also with Jordan Davis and I know Jalen Carter. I mean, like they have some, so that could be part of it as well. I mean, there's just a lot of different factors there, and they're a really good team as well. I mean, they're a little bit ahead of the Cowboys right now. So if he decides he wants to go there, I know he knows Nick Sirianni, just like he has some people that he knows here. So. At the end of the day, he's going to have to make that decision. And, if they make it, it's good. If the Cowboys get him, that'll be a good thing. I'm not saying it wouldn't be. I think because they want him, it would be a good thing. But it also won't be the end of the world if he doesn't go here and if he signs with Philly. I don't think anyone's going to be too heartbroken on either side of this. This is a player that, he needs to kind of come in and help with the run defense. All right, good stuff there. Thanks for the call, Alan. I've got a text question here from 516 number, no name, but he says, I remember the narrative that we can't pay Dak because he needs great players around him to be successful. Can we put that to bed now after watching Mahomes in the past few weeks? Yeah, I mean, they've struggled some as well, and they've kind of thrown different players at it, and they're still really good, though. I mean, they're still a really good team. That wouldn't be a team I would want to face, if I was in the AFC. So let's not say that that's the issue. But all quarterbacks need some help. I mean, and Mahomes has always had it. Now, he's got one of the greatest tight ends to ever play. So he does have. Mahomes has help. For sure. So, anyways, but yeah, I think they want to keep Dak and they want to keep the great players around him. And who cares if it's, he needs him to help him or it doesn't matter. Get them both in there. All right. Sam in Seattle's our next caller. Sam, what's up?
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good up here in Seattle. The NFL has made it clear for me to watch more Cowboys with flexing the Seahawks-Eagles to Monday night, so okay. I don't have to worry about them getting in the way of Buffalo and Dallas that Sunday, and putting Seattle and Dallas on Thursday night so I could watch it on local TV.
All right.
That was good too.
Yeah.
And, about Seattle, I kind of want them to go on a run now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I thought that too. About hey, don't keep your head up. Keep your head up over there, Gino. Like want you to play well against the 49ers, of course, the Eagles. Do that and just make a few more plays. Everybody's kind of thinking the same way about Seattle. Go win.
Yeah. And so, just want to add, it seems like just how different it is now versus the first 4 games of the year. When we were talking about Texas Coast offense, and then, tight ends aren't catching balls. Red zone offense, not so great. Now we're just like, first drive of the game, deep ball.
Right.
It's not. So to me, this is like a Dak Coast offense now.
Dak Coast, I like it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, remember the term Dak friendly. It definitely has been that. And there's a lot of things there, a lot of chicken and egg type theories, or is Ferguson playing better because CD is a CD playing better because he has more weapons around him? It doesn't matter. Either way, Dak is continuing to throw it to who is open. Schoonmaker, he'll still throw it to him. He throws it to Jalen Tolbert. He throws it to Rico Dowdle out of the backfield. he throws it to the guys that are open. So, and the thing is they're getting more plays, and then CD is still getting 12 catches, 10 catches, 11 catches. It's unbelievable. I think he's got 44 catches in the month of November. I need to go talk to our PR staff about that and see, is that the most of 44 catches in 1 month, and I did have the extra game by playing on that Thursday night. That's a lot of catches though in 1 month. It's been a really good thing, but not to the detriment of other players. I guess you could say Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup really just doesn't have a whole lot of stats, but that's it really.
Yeah, Michael Gallup's really the one thing from the beginning of the year that's still a question now.
But he's the perfect guy for that role. If you think about,
you still have to cover him.
Right. And if you think about wide receivers that have had success, and he's had some success, 1,000 yards in his career. And a 1,000-yard season. But the fact that he's not getting a lot of balls his way and all that stuff, he's still though he's not a guy that's going to sit and pout. He's going to make a play for you. He's not going to be a problem in the locker room. And that's a good thing. Maybe he's making more money than you would want that guy to be. But I'm saying you're going to need a play from Michael Gallup, and he'll deliver it for you. So it's not the worst thing in the world to have him kind of just lurking back a little bit. He'll make a big play. So, yeah. All right. Appreciate the call. Thanks, Sam. All right, good stuff here. Let's see. Got another question here. This is from Dan in Philly. He says, not all people from Philly I'm going to read it. I don't care. Not all people from Philly are asshats like the Eagles fans at the games. They give the city a bad name. This is going to be a crazy week here. That's it. I love it. Yeah, 100%. I remember one of the first jokes I ever got. It was like reading in the newspaper. I was like, 11 or 12 years old, and it said like a Christmas list, list, for everybody. Aikman needs more blockers for Christmas and whatever, and Jerry Jones needs whatever, and it was like the Eagles need the C and the L back in class, and it was one of the first jokes I ever got, and I loved it, and it's so true. So there you go. All right, let's go to Dylan, Northport, Florida. What's up?
Hey, dude, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's a funny story here before I get going. I was at a hunting trip this last week, and we're up in a cabin up in upstate New York, and it's my brother's. He doesn't have cable TV or anything up there, right? So I brought this little gizmo to hook my phone up to the TV. I'm hoping and praying I got cell service because I haven't missed a game in 20 years. So I plug it in the TV. There's nothing, man. Nothing at all. It's like there's no data signal, nothing doesn't work. So I'm hoping and praying I can put it as high as I can up in that cabin, man, get some sort of signal. We got to watch the game. We got to watch it with my parents, my brother, the kids, and the whole weekend, all we did, every single thing we did, it was here we go, tying our shoes. Here we go. Yeah, you guys got to make like some sort of, you guys did a couple of years ago with Zeke and then that funny video, eating the cereal and all that. Yeah. You guys got to do something with Dak and the here we go, is just doing little tasks and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. We've done a couple of things. There's been a couple of videos that you might have seen in social media wise. One of them was all the players kind of going around doing it, and then of course Dak doesn't even get into it. And then there's another one that we put out that was really, really good as well. So we've done some things, but maybe the problem is that he's not cooperative about it. I mean, I don't know if you remember, and you probably don't, but way back in training camp, we got, we weren't getting callers, we were just getting players to come in, and one of the last days of training camp, I think it was the very last day, Dak came in. And I asked him right off the bat, I was just like, let's get started here. Or should I say, here we go. And he looked at me, he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, what do you mean what you're talking about? And you said it for 3 weeks out here. Here we go. And he was like, no, that's not something we talk about. It was really awkward. I was like, oh, okay, sorry. Moving on. And, and now look at it. Now, once Aaron Rodgers said it, it's like, oh, now, of course. Because there's meaning behind it too. It's not just him just saying that. It's the cadence is kind of helping with everything with that offense and how they get the play started.
Yeah, it's such a unique thing. He's got to trademark that or something. I'm sure there'll be some commercials with that in the offseason. But he seems locked in right now, so I like that. That's good. So Friday, some of the callers, they were disappointed with the defense and the pass rush, but just a couple things about that. The pass rush was getting there all night. The problem was that Geno was taking 3 steps and throwing the ball all night too. Yeah. And the report, it's funny, the report on Geno all season was he holds the ball like all day, way too long. He's done it all season. And I said this a couple weeks ago against the Giants. I'm like, there's teams every year, bad teams or teams, maybe not bad, but they're not as good as the Cowboys, and they step up and play good games against Dallas for a multitude of reasons. One is it's the Cowboys, and now you got the Seahawks playing for their playoff life. And it's like these guys formulated a game plan specifically to negate the best part of this defense. And they did it. But, I mean, the pass rush was still getting there. They threw up a stat on the TV. It's like the pass rush was getting there faster than any team's gotten after any quarterback all season. But the problem was that the throws were so quick. Either throw it incomplete or get it out quick on a slant or an in route or something like that. And, people were upset with Bland for having a rough game, but it's like there's no blueprint. He didn't get exposed. The blueprint is to have like some genetic freak at wide receiver that was built in a lab. That dude, DK, he runs like a small guy. Like he's quick, he's fast, but he's built like a transformer. He's built like Megatron. Like he's insane. And Bland's he has the speed, but he's too short. And you saw on that one in cut that DK took to the house. Bland was playing underneath leverage, which is dangerous, but if you want the pick, that's what you got to do. But the guy catches it, it's the house call. There's no safety, which there wasn't. And that was just a well-thrown ball kind of up and away, and Bland missed it by a fingernail. He was just too short. Right. So I'm not worried about it. Pass rush is fine. Bland's fine, and we'll see what happens there.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call, Dylan, and you're not wrong on that. I mean, Geno was getting the ball out really quick. The issue I had was that usually when you get the ball out super quick like that, the guys aren't already open, and that's the thing. They had it schemed up really well. It was one of the tougher matchups just because they have 3 receivers that are really good. I mean, the Eagles, I think, have a better receiver, number 1, in A.J. Brown. They have 2 better receivers in Brown and Devontae Smith. But when you talk about 3, I think Seattle has, their third receiver is better than I think what the Eagles throw out. So that's the thing about them. They don't have the best in the game, but they have maybe the best trio, and that's really good. And that hurt the Cowboys all night long. And but got to give Dallas credit too. The last 3 drives they got off the field. I mean, they hadn't forced them to punt at all, and nobody punted in the game. But they couldn't get off the field, couldn't get a stop until the last 3 drives of the game. They did. They got an interception, then they got the 4th down stop, and they got another 4th down stop as well. So actually, I guess it was 3. No, they didn't get the interception. It wasn't the last 3 drives. It was like 4 out of 5 because they did give up a touchdown after that pick. But the last 3 drives of the game, the Cowboys did get off the field. All right, let's go to text message from Dallas. He's in South Jersey, named Dallas. Says, do you think we continue to see Tolbert and Turpin increase their snaps and less of Gallup? Probably. I mean, they're all going to play. I think Gallup will still get out there and play. But I think Turpin has shown that he can make some plays for you. I mean, it's not just deep balls. I mean, we've seen one with him kind of down the field in Washington, but he's had a couple of catches there, like inside the red zone. One for a touchdown against Philly, I believe that was Philly. Had a touchdown. It was a little outside the red zone against the 49ers, but he's made some plays. He made a nice catch to the 1 yard line the other day, a 2 yard line. So he's really made a lot of strides at offense, and Tolbert has as well. So yeah, I mean, I think that they won't say it that way. They'll say it. We got more weapons that we can throw out there. All right. Let's go to our next caller. We got Ryan in Tulsa. Ryan, what's up?
Hey, Nick. How's it going, man? Love your show.
Appreciate it. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, watching San Francisco yesterday, it struck me that this is something that needs to be planned out over not 4 or 5 days, but 4 or 5 weeks. And with that much time remaining until we might have to face them again, a little more about the inner workings. Do our coaches look ahead and start planning on how we're going to attack these guys and how we're going to defend them? And then my second part was I heard Jay Glazer mention Shaq Leonard was waiting to see kind of what the outcome of yesterday's game was for the Eagles. And if that's the case, that maybe he'll help us shore up our middle, because that seems to be what they attack San Francisco. But it looks like they plan way far ahead. They knew exactly who to attack with the Eagles yesterday.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think everybody looks ahead. I mean, that's why you have 30 coaches and analytics and all that. I mean, you're already scouting ahead. Now, whatever they were doing to scout the 49ers the first time around, maybe you mix that up, because that didn't work out so much. But yeah, I mean, I think, and I don't know what does that mean if Shaq Leonard was waiting for the weekend. What does that mean? I'm going for the team that wins. I'm going for the team that needs me the most. I mean, think about it. The 49ers just smacked the Eagles right in the mouth, just like they did to Dallas. Same thing. And so it showed right then and there that if this game gets really physical and it becomes a war in the trenches like that San Francisco's built for it. And, the Eagles couldn't handle that. The Cowboys could not handle it either. Cowboys haven't handled that in 3 years. Just kind of taking the fight like that to the opponent, just like the 49ers do. So maybe the Eagles found out they needed him a lot more. And that's the type of player they want. Maybe they up the offer. I don't know. I don't know what that kind of means as far as waiting for the weekend. I think he's just waiting for the weekend just to kind of make a decision. So I don't know necessarily what a win or loss does. So, all right. Appreciate the call, Ryan. I think the phone lines are open right now, 888-855-2297. This is usually right when we start the show. We added an extra 30 minutes. If you're just joining us now, we started at 9:30. There's no Talking Cowboys this morning. They will be back tomorrow. Nothing changing for them. They just had a little bit of scheduling conflicts. Today's the day that the players go to the hospital visits around town and around Dallas and Fort Worth. Three hospitals in Dallas, one in Fort Worth. They spread the players around. We've got a couple of our crew there. We've got some staff writers that are there. We've got some videographers also there. It's a, you know, it's a, 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 it's a it's a special day. I don't know how to say. I don't want to say it's awesome because it's seeing kids in a hospital is not awesome, especially if you have some like I do. But it's something. It is just when you see a kid light up because Eric Scott Jr. shows up with his jersey on, and that's nothing. No offense to Eric Scott Jr., but he's a guy that's just a young player, hasn't played yet, but doesn't matter. He's got that jersey on. He's got that star. He's got a Santa hat on. And when a player like that walks in there and just see how the kids and the parents light up, it's pretty awesome. I've seen Tank Lawrence just send someone to the nearby store and say, hey, they wanted this toy. Let's go get it for them, and let's bring it to them. Here in the next hour or so. I've seen that happen. It's pretty special. So it's a really great thing the Cowboys have done for a long time. They go all over to these children's hospitals and visit, and it's pretty cool. So you'll probably get a chance to see that later today. Some videos and some stories that come out of that event. All right, let's go to Seth in New York. It's our next caller, Seth.
Morning, Nick. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Happy Victory Monday.
All right.
I'm calling that
sure.
because
Eagles.
we all saw what happened yesterday.
Okay, sounds good.
So my question. So really, what I wanted to, I just want somebody to speak on this because I found it to be absolutely boneheaded analysis that came out of one of the national media places over the weekend.
I know what you're going to say.
Exactly. How is it that Dak Prescott can't be elite unless he's throwing interceptions and fumbling the football and then, having to play hero and come back and win football games when we all know that he put that team on his back on Thursday night?
I don't understand that. You're talking about LaShawn McCoy that made that statement of that he needs to see Dak throw interceptions and come back from that, even though when he did throw some interceptions in games, then that whole crew roasted him and all that. Hey, put David Hellman back on the show. I'm sorry. David Hellman needs to be on that show. It was a better show when he was on it. And I'm not saying that just because he's here, or maybe I am. But, I mean, he actually brings a little bit more rationale into things like that. So, I don't know. I thought that was, I say it all the time. Nobody's take is wrong as long as it's genuine. As long as it's a real take. It's what you really believe. You're not just saying that to kind of, just to get ratings and stuff like that. I just don't understand how that makes any sense to me he has done that. He's led the team back. He did it against Seattle. I don't know what else he needed to do. So
yeah, it was just a blind take from a guy who wears the Philly green and I guess bleeds green and white. So
yeah, he's afraid that if he says anything positive about the Cowboys, he's going to lose his Philly card or whatever. I don't know. Hey. It is what it is. I don't necessarily. That's not one that I ever really. That's not a take that I ever really throw a lot of validity in because he is what he is, and that's fine. I mean, he was a good football player and all that, but it's clear that he does not like the Cowboys, and I think it's an unbiased take. You know what I mean? Just like when Michael Irvin goes up there and says, stuff about the Cowboys. You look at it like, all right, Mike, of course you're going to say that, because you're a Cowboy. And it's the same with the people that are the other way around. So it is what it is. I didn't understand the take. Maybe there was more to it. I think Dak has shown that he can bring the team back. But it's not a recipe that you want your quarterback to do. Jalen Hurts did it a few times, against some bad, some mediocre teams. He brought their team back. They did it. They tried that thing yesterday against the 49ers, and that didn't work, and it went the other way. So it's not something that you want to go into the game saying, I just hope my team can rally and bring them back. So, all right, let's go to Reggie in Germany. Reggie, are you there? Hello.
Hey, Nick, how you doing? It's Reggie.
Hey, Reggie. How's it going over there?
It's been a minute. It's been good, man. Everything's good. I hope you guys had nice holidays as well.
Yeah, it was good.
Listen, I know other guys are trying to get through to you, so I don't want to take up a lot of your time.
Hey, it's all right, man. You're in Germany. You got a little bit.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Listen, real quick question: have you checked out any of the keys to the game as far as what San Francisco was doing to the Philly defense? I was observing the game, and I noticed that they were running a lot of stunts to the left side of the offense, and that's our strength. That's Tyler and Tyron. You think there's something that they're paying attention to, that we might work some of that in? I haven't seen a lot of left hand running.
Yeah.
As far as our offense is concerned, and not running off tackle, but between tackle and guard. I think that's something that would be playing to the strength of TP, and might help him out a little bit.
Yeah, he's that's one of those things too. Like, it's hard to do what the 49ers do. They're running to their left side. I don't think it's because they found something on the Eagles' right side of their defensive end. I think it's because they've got an all-pro tackle over there, Trent Williams.
We got an all-pro tackle in Tyler.
True. I'm not saying we don't. Trent Williams, I think, is a little bit different, and he plays in that style. But more than that is who's the Debo? I mean, like, do you have a Debo? Do you have a McCaffrey? I mean, the 49ers are really good at what they do because they have weapons that they can line up everywhere. They can line up a wide receiver at running back and run him the ball. They can line up the running back, McCaffrey, at receiver and throw him the ball. So it's really a tough offense to try to copy. I mean, because you just don't have those pieces in place. But they ran Philly all over the place, and they did a really good job. And Purdy, I mean, he just makes really, really good decisions. So they took it to the 49ers. I mean, it was one of those games, got real chippy there with the fighting and the security guard and all that kind of mess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was going on there, but it happens. It happens. I guess.
It was going on. It was some wildness going on.
Right, and Philly took that. And they needed a spark. They took it, and they went and scored a touchdown. And that's when you're like, all right, this game might have just changed. I mean, the 49ers lost one of their best linebackers in Greenlaw, and the Eagles lost their security guard. Like, okay, that's fair. And then what the 49ers did, they took it right down there and scored and said, "Now, we could play with an edge as well." And so, that was it. So.
Yeah, that was a good trade for the Eagles. I mean, all they lost was the security person.
Well, maybe it wasn't, because after that they couldn't stop anyone. I don't know. I never heard of that guy. I mean, I didn't. Yeah. I mean, what is it with security guys? I mean, seriously. I mean, I know the Cowboys got to go win, but and I said this before. You're supposed to be breaking up the fight, and I went and just looked at it again. He was doing that. He was trying to do that. Now, he was throwing some F-bombs in there. He was a big, tough guy, but he was trying to kind of break that up. And to be fair, the Cowboys director of security, he's down there on the field too. He breaks up fights like that. Like, that's kind of what happens. But it was just an odd thing that happened. And I'm really surprised that they got him out of the game for that.
I wasn't sure about that call either. I mean, how did they come back to it? And they circled back to it. They didn't even call it initially. They ignored it, and then they came back to it.
The only thing I could think of is because he already had the penalty for the throwing him down on the ground, and then if he's a swipe like that, if that's another penalty, I guess that's a 15-yard penalty. I guess you get 2, you're out. I don't know. I'm getting my college football rules mixed up there. But anyways,
he's the security guy. He's not even a player. So how do you call that?
But I'm just glad that they got him out of the game. I mean, whatever his role is. I mean, you're on the sideline, and you can't. I mean, you need to be out of the game as well. So who knows what that affected? It was just kind of a weird game. Who knows? Does he have to sit out the first half of the Cowboys game? Again, sorry, that's another Cowboys thing, another college football.
Yeah, does he get a fine? What happens after?
Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure the people in Philly would pay it. So
Gladly.
For him, they love that guy. He got
for sure.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him. All right, anything else, Reg?
No, that's it. I just wanted to let you hear your opinion on it.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you for the call. Got another call from outside the U.S., Canada, and now Germany. That's awesome. We'll go one more call, and we're going to take a break here. We got Russ in New York.
Hey, Nick. How's it going? First-time caller.
Oh, hey, Russ. There you go. There you go. Here we go.
I just heard the last caller about the one before that about the narrative on the national TV with Shady and everything. I just think it's humorous.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, if you watched the Cowboys-Eagles game in December, Dak throws a pick six on the first play of the game almost.
Right.
And then he comes back and beats them and scores 30-something points on them. So I mean,
yeah,
his ability to come back from starting a game wrong. I mean, he's done it plenty of times in his career.
It's true.
And I remember when we used to play Carson Wentz, we had some battles, and those games always started off pretty rough. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Is crazy.
That's a good point.
But,
10-0. 10-0. That Eagle game last year against Gardner Minshew, you're exactly right. It was 10-0, and that pick, and yeah, they came back, and it was a great game. Of course, that game probably doesn't count because it didn't have Jalen Hurts in it. You know, I mean, like there's always going to be that kind of narrative, but it's okay.
Yeah, like Dak plays against Jalen Hurts on defense, right?
Right.
Not like that's the Eagles' defense.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just real quick, what do you think we're going to do this week if we have some trouble again on the right tackle side with Steele? Are we going to try to help out a little bit more than we did last time?
Yeah, I would imagine. That that's why having the tight ends out here are really, really helpful. That's why you want them to make plays. You want Schoonmaker to make some plays. You want Ferguson to make plays because having them on the field can help in so many different areas. You can help keep them inside and block those guys when you need them. If you feel like you've got it covered, they can leak out and make plays as well, especially Ferguson, who's making some catches and getting yards up the field. So having good tight end play is helpful because those are the guys that will help chip, like you're talking about, on certain plays. And then certain plays you can chip. Like we saw Ferguson had one in the game the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it, where he was supposed to just help Tyron with a chip on the left side and then leak out. But he knocked him on his ass. And Tyron's sitting there like, what do I do now? I mean, he kind of blocked over here. So it was one of those. Ferguson had a lot of great plays, but that one was a big one. But to your point, tight ends will help with the chips, and having them on the field to be versatile is really, really important.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Appreciate all the work and all the years.
All right. Thank you so much, Russ. Appreciate that. That was a first-time caller. That's awesome. All right. We're going to take a break here. We're going to go. We've got a different format today, longer show. We're going to take one break still. We're going to take it right now. We'll come back. We still got some. We got an open phone line, I believe, 888-855-2297. So hit us up. We'll be right back on Cowboys Storyline.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you. Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline. We've got a longer show today. If you just joining us, and this is the second time I've said it, but if you just joining us, Talking Cowboys did not have a show this morning. They will pick back up tomorrow, and that's really the only change of the schedule today. We just went a little bit longer. Wanted to give you guys a chance to get some more calls in. Maybe we can set our personal record, which I believe is 16, so we're sitting at 11. right now. So hopefully we can get there. We got a few more minutes here. We're going to go to the normal time, about 10:50, and then right after that, it'll be just like a regular Monday, Cowboys break, and then all the other shows after that. All right, let's go to Steve in New York. It's our next caller.
What's up, pal?
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
All right. I had to call because I heard a call or two ago the boneheaded observation from national media. I'm shocked.
Wow.
I'm absolutely floored.
Yeah.
Nick, let me tell you something. Been a fan 45-plus years. I will watch replays of the 81 championship game on a roll, okay, before I ever watch any of those shows. I mean, come on. Enough.
Hey, let me ask you this. Of all the replays, does Dwight Clark ever drop it, or does he just catch it every time?
Well, I'm hoping one sails into the crowd like it was supposed to.
Right, yeah. Just one time to throw it in there. I know.
Well, that, like with the Metcalf touchdown the other night, I maybe it's because I'm watching at home. I don't know. I thought that was going in the third row.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, oh, God.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
the one that really high. Same way.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I thought Chris Beam was going to catch that. I thought he was back there. He was going to make that catch, and he did not. Yeah. But he was right there. So,
I hear you.
What else you got?
Yeah, just real quick, because I'm a big. It's two guys, Cowboy players, Hall of Fame. That obviously Woodson's one of them. I'm so that bothers me every year, and Everson Walls is the other one. Speaking of the catch, but it was. I was just thinking this. It was because I was, it's Monday. I have a little time to play with. It was 29 years ago today, that game, because I know you have mentioned it on your show. When Woody intercepted that pass in Philly, remember they were wearing their double stars that day?
The blue double stars, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was 90-something yards maybe.
94, yeah.
Right, that was 20. Can you imagine that was 29 years ago, man? That's crazy. And I just wish, I'll say it, I know it's been said 100 times, Darren Woodson, Hall of Fame, enough.
Yeah. Enough is enough. Thanks for the call, Steve. I mean, and I looked at the class recently. Darren Woodson got put in the semifinalists round of 25. He's been there before. He needs to make it to the finalists of 15. If you look at the class, I don't know who would be. I mean, you say that, like, who would be ahead of him? I mean, it's got to be his turn, and I don't know who all has waited a long time. I think Woodson is there, though. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't make it this year, but there's a lot of politics involved there. But I do know this, that the people that I've talked to that are on the committee, they think he's going to get in. They know how this works. They know how the process is and how you kind of have to wait your turn, and you wait a long time. It's not like he hasn't waited a long time. They think he's going to get in sooner than later, and they've tried. They've really tried to do some things. I mean, I had somebody ask me to call Bill Parcells and ask him about Darren Woodson, and I got to talk to him about it, and he said he's one of the top 5 players he's ever coached, and he coached him for 1 year. 1 year, and he said he's one of the top 5 players I've ever coached. And I don't know who the other 3 are. I didn't ask him. I mean, I could imagine Lawrence Taylor would be one. I don't know some of the others, but he said Darren Woodson. He goes, I wish if I would have had Darren Woodson longer than this, he'd already have a Hall of Fame jacket, and that's pretty egotistical to say. But who disagrees? For sure. All right. Let's go back to the line here. I got to repeat. Here, this is Dylan is called back. Dylan.
Hey, dude. Thanks for having me back. I wasn't sure if I was able to get back on or not, but you all let me in. So
I feel like if you get through, you get through. I mean, if you maybe had something you forgot to say or whatever. So if you get through the second time, we've never had a third caller, but let's not try it today. Let's try it.
Yeah, no, I figured you guys had a little longer format. So
that's okay. That's all right. Time. I'm still counting it as another call because you got through. What's up?
I'll go quick so we can get the 16 callers in here. Set that record.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. The Eagles, dude, they don't scare me at all. You look at the last 3 or 4 weeks, dude, they've been knocking on the doorstep of these losses, and I called it on Twitter before the game. I'm like, this is the week the horseshoe falls out of the Eagles' ass. I'm like, this is the 49ers are a vastly superior team. They don't play around either. They don't let teams hang around when they're playing their A game. They're well coached. They're disciplined, and except for Greenlaw apparently. And I mean, they're just a monster team with I don't know what their weaknesses. They don't have any weaknesses, it seems like, and they scared the absolute hell out of me. But the Eagles, they can be picked on. Their secondary is trash. Hurts has played not great this year. I mean, he's been clutch, right? Mm-hmm. But his stats are mediocre. He doesn't pass the ball well this year. It's like middle of the pack. I'm not even sure how he's an MVP conversation outside of team record when you compare him with the other guys like Purdy and Dak. And it's just, I think the Eagles are going to lose a few more games before the end of the year. I think we're still going to get screwed. I think the Niners probably win out, so we don't get the 1 seed. But I think there's a good chance now that we could take the division.
Well, we'll see. I mean, yeah, you're right, and I think Hurts is pretty good. I mean, I do. I would have put him up there in the MVP category. Not that I vote, and we still got a lot to to go here. I think he's played really well. The thing that I think San Francisco did really well in the game was on third down. I mean, they got it out of 4th and 1 and 2. You didn't see them have the ability to do the tush push that much, and so that's the key. Is that I think Greg Olsen said it on the air, which is a great point. Is that they have a 4th play. They have an extra snap every time in their back pocket that other teams really don't because of their ability to get that 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. And the 49ers really they did a nice job of kind of not getting there. The weakness I would say the 49ers have, and it's not really a big one, it's just that the way they like to play, if you can get on them early and then force them to have to throw their way back into the game, I think that's kind of a problem for them because if they can run Debo and they can run McCaffrey and do all these cool things, the way that they run east to west and all that, that makes it tough. But if they have to sit back and throw and say, all right, we got to hurry and get back in this game, that's probably where they're not at their best. Of course, with the Eagles, they got up, and of course the Cowboys, they were up as well. So that's the key. Is I think you got to get them in a situation where you really have to force Purdy to make these throws. All right, let's go to Arthur in Spring, Texas. Arthur.
Good morning, Nick. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Right.
There's an old adage that goes when somebody either tells you or shows you who they really are, believe them. I was glad to see Greenlaw get thrown out the game. Greenlaw was the one responsible for breaking Pollard's leg.
Yeah.
When we played them last year, Greenlaw tried to do that same nonsense when we played them this year when he tried to body slam. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking it was Pollard that he did that to then.
Yeah.
So I was very happy to see him get thrown out the game. I don't have a problem with a player being tough. I have a problem with a player being dirty because you're trying to interrupt this man's livelihood when you make plays or make those kind of tackles on people. Yeah. I don't have any respect for a player that tries to take people out like that. I noticed like Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox is just a good. You can tell he's a good-hearted person that doesn't have any ill intention. When he tackles you, it's just because he's just manhandled whoever it was to get to you. So I have great respect for people like that. I have great respect for people like D-Law, that aggressive player, and he just knows how to bring step the level of the game up to get to people.
Yeah.
Beyond that. Those haters are going to continue to hate and say that, oh well, the Cowboys managed to pull off one win against a winning team. But I'm each game, take it one game at a time, and the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah, so that's right.
We'll get a chance to see it all play out.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for the call. And you're right. You see a pattern with certain players. You guys know I'm an Arkansas guy, so Dre Greenlaw was a player at Arkansas. He was a good player, and he drafted maybe in the 7th round, and he's had a really good career for the 49ers. But you do see a pattern with players like that, with injuries, and just playing with an edge, playing that way, playing kind of reckless, and whatever happens. And it's unfortunate, especially when you get into injuries that can be season-ending, career-ending, even at that. But that's. There's always that fine line for those defensive players. Like, where can you be the most aggressive you can be and kind of have an edge for yourself and for your whole team, and play with that intensity without maybe going over the line. And that's always tough, because where is the line? You can't even see it. And so I'll just leave it at that, because I haven't seen a ton of their games and watch him, but yeah, when you see kind of the same player that do that, but that's also that's a 7th round pick that's probably supposed to be in the league for a year, if that, and he's turned into a really good player, and how that's how you do that, is you sort of play with an edge. But yeah, it can definitely be over aggressive at times, and that could have hurt his team, but San Francisco responded the right way, and Philly really couldn't stop him. All right, let's go to Mike in West Virginia. Mike.
Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Mike?
Doing good, sir. Appreciate all your work, and long-time listener.
All right. Appreciate that. What do you got for us?
Well, I got kind of a funny question I've been thinking about.
Okay.
Micah Parsons is coming up for a contract, and he's going to want defensive end money.
Mm-hmm.
He wears number 11. If he is on the defensive line, what's the NFL's rules regarding him still keeping that 11 if he's designated as a defensive lineman? I wondered about that, and I just also wanted to say, really happy about Aubrey kicking the ball. Hope Ferguson can tie up old Billy Joe Dupree, and Hollywood Henderson was ahead of his time dunking over the goalpost on his pick sixes. Just like to hear your thoughts on any of those.
Okay.
Thanks again, man. I'll hang up and listen.
Hollywood Henderson. There we go. I'm not sure his first time caller or not, but Chris, I love it. You just threw it in there.
He was.
First time. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't remembered that one as well, but I wasn't gonna ask again and be like, it's like, hey, are you? Yeah, that's kind of like when someone says, hey, I'm Nick. Nice to meet you. Like, oh, I've met you 6 times. You're like, okay, sorry. Hollywood Henderson, I've mentioned him a little bit lately with Sam Williams, as far as not off the field. I'm talking about just linebacker that can play like ahead of his time that way. I mean, a gunner. He's on the gunner. I mean, it's unbelievable. He could probably return a kick if you wanted him to. So yeah, Hollywood Henderson was that type of guy for sure. And Micah Parsons, defensive ends can wear single digits. I think Randy Gregory wears a 5 for the Niners, and you definitely can. I mean, you can switch around. So linebacker, defensive end, corner, any defensive player I think can wear numbers that are in single digits. And who knows, Micah Parsons. We'll see if he wears 11 for his whole career. I don't know. There's a lot of 11 jerseys out there. He's one of the fan favorites for sure. Maybe there have been some talk. Maybe he might want to change numbers if he can afford it. But you're right. He's going to definitely get a lot of money with his contract coming up, whenever that is. The Cowboys can negotiate starting next year after his 3rd year. Of course, they got to get CD paid as well. But yeah, they can start to do that, and he's going to want defensive end money because that's what makes him what he is. He's a pass rusher, and he's played some linebacker, but where he's been at his best is when he's getting after the quarterback, and he's got more pressures than anybody in the league. So that's certainly a pass rusher. All right. Let's go to Michael's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Michael.
Here we go.
What's up, man?
All right. So I quit Twitter years ago, and
okay.
I recently rejoined it just to follow the Cowboys stuff and everything. And I think I've decided we could win out, which I think we will. The Eagles could lose to Seattle. We could be the number 1 seed, get to the Super Bowl, and blow out the AFC team. and people would still talk trash about Dak Prescott.
No. Not if he wins the Super Bowl. No.
There'll still be people.
Well, but okay.
And the refs cheated us or something. There'll be.
Yeah, but if you win a Super Bowl for the Cowboys, I would think that they would say he's the best player in football. I always thought that about Romo. If Romo could ever get one, he would be considered the best quarterback in the NFL. Just like Aaron Rodgers was at some time, just like Drew Brees probably was at one time. I think if you win a Super Bowl for the Cowboys, you're going to be put on a very, very high pedestal. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of people talking trash if that happens. So who knows? I've never experienced that, so I wouldn't know. I
remember in '92 and all.
Yeah.
All of a sudden everybody was a Cowboys fan for a while. But one thing, if we beat the Eagles, which I'm hoping we do. Look, they were talking about the Eagles starting 9-1 so many years in a row, and we'll already be all caught up with them.
Yeah, that would be huge. This game is as big as it gets right now because if you don't win, I mean, it pretty much wraps up the division. I think for the Eagles. I mean, it would have to be. It would take losses. I mean, who's going to lose to the Cardinals, right? I mean, sorry.
Maybe they lose to the Giants twice.
Yeah. Well, if that happens, then I hope everybody over there is okay, because they've certainly had a lot of injuries at that point. If that happens, if they lose to the Cardinals and the Giants, that's what makes this game so big. And then after that, they got to play, Seattle on Monday night. So this is a big stretch for them,
Yeah, well, I'm keeping my eye on the Shaq news. That's what I'm waiting to see.
All right.
Hey, appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Michael. Bowling Green, Kentucky. All right, let's move to James. He's in New Jersey. James.
Hey, Nick. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, James?
I'm doing excellent. I'm right outside of Philadelphia. I'm from South Philly originally. I've been a fan since '65 for the Cowboys.
Nice.
One point about the Niners and one about the Eagles, which pertain to the Cowboys.
All right.
I couldn't help but notice in the game last night that the Niners only had 2 penalties, I believe.
Really?
And one was overruled by a personal foul against the Eagles. So, in other words, the penalty situation with the Cowboys, 127 yards, that's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I think it got to the point now where they need to start policing themselves and have like a kangaroo court type thing. And anybody that has a pre-snap foul puts $1,000 in the kick, and that money goes to charity at the end of the season. That would, and there's some kind of way they can discipline themselves. I don't know whether it'll work, but it can't hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because the penalty is just totally out of control. Because you can't beat yourself against teams like Philadelphia and the Niners.
Especially when they can get 2 to 3 yards on any time they want. If you make it 1st and 5, I mean, stay on sides. I don't. I mean, I understand the jump on the cadence, but I don't understand the lining up offsides. Like I just don't. I mean, you can. No. I know there's not a line there like there is on TV, but you can see the ball, right?
You can see the ball exactly. Stop. And then back as far as the Eagles are concerned, and that push thing. In the middle of the field, and you need to do it just one time, the first time they try it. When the center goes to get the ball, push him right on top of it, back into the... Okay, now when they're on the goal line, you're not going to stop that play. So you do the same thing as many times as they try to do it. When he goes to bend over to get the ball, you push him, the 3 guys in the middle, push him right on top of the quarterback or right on back into the backfield. Because they're going to make that touchdown anyway.
Right.
But you have to make them stop that play. And the only way you're going to stop it is to take that old behind center and push him before he even touches that ball.
Oh, just a false start? Just an offsides?
Blow him up. Yes, the 3 guys in the middle blow him up because it's an offside anyway. How far you're on the 1 yard line? How far are you going to go? They're going to get in.
You just do that like 2 or 3 times. Keep knocking them back.
And many times does it take before they need to stop it? It is not rugby. It is football.
I've heard a lot of things about that, and I've heard different ways to stop it. And I mean, It's funny because now you're at a point where the things that are being said are against the rules, and one of them that I heard is against the law. But it's funny. I think like I said before, the person that's going to stop it is Roger Goodell, and it sounds like that they're actually moving forward with that. And again, I've said this before. This is not like, oh, no one can stop it, so don't do it. It's not football. It's not the way you play other positions. You don't get to do that. You don't put someone on your shoulders and go block a field goal. You don't do that. You can't leverage. So why are you making yourself stronger by pushing people in the back? I don't understand it. Now, the key that they're going to have to figure out is, do they want to take that out? Are you also going to take out the run? I think the 49ers had one the other day where they got stopped at the 8 and they pushed him all the way to the 1. Are you going to stop that, like down the field plays as well? So that's probably what they have to figure out too, because that happens too. I mean, they just push people, and I can't stand that either. So, all right, but we'll figure out how to. We'll see what the NFL does with that. It'll be interesting, but it's an advantage for Philly, and it starts with Kelsey. I mean, it really does. I mean, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts isn't a part of it, but I mean, they have a center that really understands that part of it and that play, and does a great job with it. All right, I've never said this before, so I'm going to say it right now. Our 17th caller of the day is Alan in Korea. Alan.
Hey, how's it going, Nick?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. It's 1:43 a.m. here in Korea.
Wow. 1:43, huh?
Yep.
What are you doing? What are you doing up so late?
I set my alarm to call in.
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
I think not only first time caller, but also, I mean, this is our 17th call. So here we go. What's up, man?
Right on. I just wanted to mention something that I saw there. There's a 3rd and 16, and this is something hopefully you see in this game against the Eagles. But you had Ferguson and Tony Pollard both do chip blocks on the defensive ends. Ferguson puts his guy on the butt.
Yep.
And then Tony Pollard knocks his guy into our line, and then Jake Ferguson goes and gets a first down. So I think stuff like that, disrupting the pass rushers, is going to be what's needed.
Yep.
And then just dominance from Tyron Smith blocking 2 rushers. That's just crazy.
Right.
So yeah, that's all I got. Just hopefully we get to see more of that, disrupting those pass rushers.
Sure, it's the timing of everything. Thanks for the call, Alan. Appreciate that. Get some sleep here. It's almost 2:00 in the morning over there. No, we appreciate that. Of course, that's our 3rd caller here from outside the country. So that's awesome. And obviously, like I said, the most we've ever had. Of course, adding an extra 30 minutes helps with that, and so that's why I figured we would do that. But as for the tight ends, I think for sure the timing of chipping these defensive ends, just kind of throwing things off a little bit. Obviously, you want to get to a point where you wouldn't need the help. Tyron hasn't needed a lot of help in his career. And Terrence Steele, you want to get to that point where you don't have to stay in there, but if they can make some plays, especially if you have tight ends that can get up the field. That 3rd and 16 play, I mean, that was huge. That was a big play in the game early on to Ferguson, and he caught it and still needed 15 yards or so to get the first, and so he's got the ability to do that, and he's really becoming a playmaking tight end. And if you have that on this team with CD and Cooks and, of course, the Pollard and all that, if you have a playmaking tight end that you can throw into the mix here, that changes a lot of things. And we see that in Kansas City because Kelsey absolutely can make plays and elude tackles and all that stuff. All right, let's go to our next caller here, Diego in the Bronx. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing?
I'm good.
All right, I just got 2 things I want to speak on. So the first is actually about Dak Prescott. I know a few weeks ago he spoke to the media about speaking on an angry fans kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So a few years ago, back in 2018, he had blocked me on Twitter because I was just so upset about us losing Tony Romo the year prior, And then Des Bryant was heading out that year. I was real emotional. I was a big Des guy.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't on the Dak train yet, but I'm the same guy in 2020 when he got injured. I even popped a tear for the guy when he got hurt and stuff like that. Yeah, so if I could ever get him to unblock me at some point, man, that would be great. And the second thing was I took a trip to Philadelphia week 9 by myself, and I sat in the stands by myself. And, man, I tell you, those fans, they did me bad, man. Every time up and down the aisle, they just kept coming after me with the boos. So Cowboys fans, next week at the stadium, up and down the aisles, please give them hell. That'll be great.
Was that all that it was? Was just the boos? I mean, I know that that's not fun, but as long as it wasn't like physical or anything.
Oh no, they couldn't. People know who to mess with. I'm like a big guy. I played football myself. I'm a welder in New York City, so people know who to mess with. I gave them a fair share as well. So,
well, you almost got the last laugh there. So, but hey, I appreciate. I applaud you going up there with by yourself and saying, what are they going to do? But yeah, I mean, it's they're obviously passionate about their team and all that, and it's an experience. But I'm sure there wasn't a lot of that going on yesterday. And I bet you there was a lot of 49er fans there. 49ers they travel well to every place. Yeah. So I bet that was interesting. I won't be surprised if I see that.
One more thing.
Go ahead. One more thing.
So I have the Cowboys beating Philly by 10 or better next week. Okay. You guys don't worry. We're going to win.
All right. Sounds good. I don't think you're missing a whole lot on Dak on Twitter. I don't think he does a whole lot there. He did when he was younger. And of course, there's a lot of history on that where he was when he was in high school or college when he tweeted out about Romo, about being done with Romo, and then he ends up playing with him. He was a little bit more active on Twitter than he is now. I don't think he does a whole lot other than like community type things and stuff. All right, let's go to one more caller here. Alan in Idaho.
Hey, Nick, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey, awesome. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Love the show.
No problem.
Hey, just had a quick observation. Just kind of in the games that I have seen with the Eagles, looks like Lane Johnson, every single play is early, but they're never calling it. What are your takes on that?
Hate it. I see. I paused it actually one time in the game. I paused it like perfectly, and it was like he was out ready to block, 2 other linemen still touching the ground with their hands. Like now, I've heard people say he actually gets out faster than the other guys, but I don't know, man. It looks very early to me. And not only that, he's lined up like 3 yards off the ball. So that's another thing that I hate is that they're so nitpicky when it comes to like a helmet being across the ball on the for offsides. But yet your right tackle is pretty much, even with the quarterback in the shotgun. So I don't know. But they don't ever call it. They don't ever call it.
I tried it last night too. There was one play where it looked like both tackles before the ball was even snapped, they were both moving.
Yeah.
And then the ball comes out, and, of course, nothing's called, and they get the play. But just frustrating because we can't ever get anything like that. We always look I don't know.
It was frustrating that happened in the Cowboys game over and over and over, and they ended up losing the game because on the 6-yard line at the end of the game, Tyler Smith gets a false start, which was pretty – it was pretty questionable as well. Gets a false start called and moves them back to the 11, and then they get a sack. But you don't get that false start call. I think the Cowboys throw it 4 times from the 6. I think they score. But, it's just that's the way that it goes. But, the Eagles finally got some calls against them in that game because they hadn't been getting a whole lot, but they did in that game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for the call. That's Alan in Idaho. That's our 19th caller. And I think that's going to be it for us. 20 would have been nice, but something to shoot for. Unless there's somebody calling right now, we can maybe do that. I don't think so.
No one.
So that's it. We're going to end it with 19. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Appreciate you guys calling. We got 3 from outside the U.S. New York with the win. New York. I mean, a lot of calls from New York here, from the Bronx and from Long Island. We had 5 different calls from the state of New York. That was the winner of our America's Team Challenge. I just made that up. But all right, sounds good. This was great. Tomorrow, back to normal time, though. It'll be 10 a.m. Central Time. The Cowboys break will be following us right now. So appreciate you guys. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See ya.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!